Sometimes it just feels like nothing is even happening. But that's exactly when the progress is working in the deepest part of your spirit. I love this topic today just because we often quit before the breakthrough. We often give up before we actually figure something out. We often just don't see anything more because what we see in the physical, right, is not matching with the vision that God gave us. It's not matching with the dream that God gave us, right? So whenever we pray and we're not seeing results, we're putting in effort, but you're feeling unchanged, you're discouraged. It begins to bring more and more discouragement, right? And I can understand that. And I can believe that because I've been through it. We've all been through it. We've all had those types of moments, and especially those type of thoughts. But it's the people that can look past all of that, the people that can pray without ceasing, the people that can keep changing, or the people that can keep giving effort even if they don't see any change yet. They just believe that eventually discouragement will turn into encouragement. And a lot of times that's how it goes. It's the things that are hurting us that turn into motivation. It's the things that get us down that should be driving us, that should be giving us fuel. Don't be fearful, right? Use it as fear fuel. Use the fear as fuel and don't be full of fear. Being emotional can also play a huge role in this because being being able to give up on something before a breakthrough, right? You don't know whenever the breakthrough comes, but if you give up, you'll never know. And that is such a common saying. And it's easier said than done whenever you've been grinding for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years with no results. That's at that point, then at least I can understand if you talk about giving up. But if you're still in the early stages, you haven't even been working for a year yet. You've been working for 6 months, you've been grinding for 8 months, you've been grinding for a year, maybe even two. But people don't have to know your name. Might not know your name for the next 20 years. And on that 21st year, everybody's going to know you. Everything that you've done is going to make change. Everything that you've done was never a waste. Everything that you went through is all going into fruition, right? Because nothing feels like progress. So you start to doubt yourself whether anything is actually happening. You are doubting yourself now. You are questioning yourself now, as if nothing is happening. But let me tell you something. If you wake up and you do 20 push-ups, I promise you that is doing something for you. If you wake up and eat breakfast, I promise that's doing something for you. If you wake up and get in your word and pray to God, I promise that's doing something for you. Whether it's beneficial to you in the physical or actually beneficial to you in the future, right? So it's the same thing whenever Apple's telling you got to do a software update. It's the work that has to be done in the background in order for you to see the benefits of it for whenever you're using it. Whenever you turn it on, now it's faster. Now you can use more applications. Now you can do more things, more shortcuts, new nuances about what's going on. What's the new features, right? It's the same thing with us. We are being upgraded, right? We might be upgraded in the background, but eventually we're going to be able to see all the new features. We're going to be able to see the speed that we can develop in. We're going to be able to do so much more, right? But by feeling like we were doing less, by seeing maybe less, but it's actually benefiting us for more at times. You don't see the roots growing, but without roots, nothing can stand. You are buried right now. You are a seed right now. You might not see any light right now, but eventually you are actually gaining roots. You are actually being rooted down into a foundation. You are actually spreading, right? Whenever we look into a tree, when you see a picture of a tree, right, you see that the top of it is beautiful, of course. And obviously the bigger the tree, though, the more roots it has to have. No storm, right? No flood, right? No type of weather can uproot that tree because the roots are probably twice as deep as the height might be of that tree. If you're able to go to a tree and push it over and the roots come up out the ground, you know it was never deeply rooted. If you are easily to be swayed left and right, up and down, forward and backward easily because of something that's happening in life, that just means you are not deeply rooted. But if you are able to stand whole, stand strong, steadfast, be able to not be uprooted, know that you have been deeply rooted within your foundation. You know who you are. You know where you want to go. You know what type of person you want to be. And you are going at it each and every day, whether you see it or not. And you are trying to achieve that goal, right? It's the same thing with trying to compare yourself. You must not compare yourself to anything that thinks that you might think is doing better than you, because comparison is the thief of joy. Keep your joy, keep your peace. And by doing that, you're not worried about what everybody else is doing. You're not worried about everybody else's progress. That's the whole thing about progress. We want to speed everything up. We want to be on our own timeline. We want to get God to get on our timeline, because we open up our phones and we see people doing things, having things, doing stuff, not knowing if it's real or not, and wanting God to get us there. And when we get there, we still don't know what to do with our lives. We still don't know who we are. And we definitely still are not deeply rooted, right? In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 7, as I get to that, Corinthians chapter 3, verse 7, goes on to say, so neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but only God who makes things grow. See how deep that is. But only God who makes things grow. You can't do anything. There's nothing that you can do or say. I've said this before. There's nothing you can do or say or think that's going to have God love you more or love you less. God is going to do the things that he's going to do for you in the right time, in the right manner, in the right purpose, and in the right mission. But what we got to do is be patient, be steadfast, and be deeply rooted. What we cannot do is thinking that God is not on time. God is always on time. God will make it happen when it's supposed to happen, not whenever you think it's supposed to happen. So be mindful that God's timing isn't slow, it's just precise. And a lot of times God's delay is actually God's protection from what you are trying to do to yourself, and you don't even know how it could affect you, right? Being invisible doesn't mean that it's absent. Being invisible just means that it is not present to you. But it doesn't mean that it's not present at all, right? So it's the same thing with just thinking about, what can I do when nobody's looking? What type of integrity can I have when nobody is checking on me? So what do you do while you're waiting though, when you can't see anything, right? But things that aren't happening, it doesn't seem like your action is taking place or anything like that, but this is what you have to do, right? You got to be consistent with small steps. Celebrate invisible obedience. Talk to God honestly about the struggle. There's nothing that you can do or say to make God really angry at you or not love you anymore. So go to him boldly, respectfully, of course, but go to him boldly and let him know what it is. Let him know that you're not seeing things. Let him know that you want more. Let him know everything that is on your mind and in your heart. Don't go to man. Don't go to another person and say these things and think that they're going to do anything for you. They're in the same exact position that you are probably, or they might be in a worse position, and then they're going to bring that energy onto you. Be mindful. Be cautious, right? Refuse to quit before the harvest. Invisible progress becomes visible only after you don't quit. So the moment that you feel like quitting, don't. The moment that you feel like giving up, don't. The more that you feel like getting out, don't. The fire is the most hot whenever you're being molded the most, right? You're being chipped away at the most whenever the diamond is the most brightest. So there is a bright diamond within inside of you, within inside of a sheet, within inside of a rock. And God is just chipping it away each and every day. And you're doing the work to chip it away and help him out. But you are not doing yourself a favor. You're doing yourself a disservice and doing God a disservice when you want to give up. So just know that God has a life for you. God knows that you have a purpose. God knows that you have a mission, and he hasn't forgotten about you. But you must be deeply rooted. You must not give up before the breakthrough, and you definitely must not give up before God hands you that next blessing. But I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me on this one, man. Do me a favor, man. Comment below what feels invisible in your life right now. Your breakthrough might be closer than you think. But right now, what's feeling invisible? Right? Right now, what do you feel like giving up on? Right now, what do you need God to help you on? Comment below, man, and let me know what y'all think. Because progress doesn't always look like results. Sometimes it just feels like patience, trust, and obedience. And that still means growth. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on this video, bro. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me on this one, man. And I hope y'all catch me on the next one.